All right, I had to get started on this a little bit earlier because I still got to do round 3 showdown for golf, which I'm not going to put on YouTube, just for the Discord tonight. And me and John got to record NFL Final Thoughts so it can be out right at 11 o'clock tomorrow when everybody's attention goes off of college football and back over to NFL. So, busy night. Need to get this out now. This is, if you don't know how it works, do I even know how it works? I don't fucking know. But I can tell you this. I know how I want it to work. This is the rough draft, right? You can see we still don't have ownership. We got a lot of this magenta on here is the color. Because we're still waiting on a lot of news, right? And a lot of that news affects a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is 9:30 tomorrow. That's Lord's time. The Lord's time zone, by the way. That's an hour and a half before kick here in the Lord's time zone. I'm going to do a stream, probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, answer any questions you have. We can gossip about any injury news, see what we're seeing on Twitter. Blah, blah, blah is not warming up. A lot of you guys, there's just a small army of you guys that do such a good job finding stuff on Twitter that's so useful to share there that, we can all just kind of bring it in there, make sure, nobody's playing fucking guys that are out, right? You don't want to do that. You don't want to play Tillman last week. You needed to know to switch to Hyatt. So that's very useful information. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start trying to do that every Saturday, 90 minutes before kick, right? Kind of talk about anything that's, maybe scaring us off of a cash game play, or maybe this guy's out. This makes this team have more concentrated usage, what the fuck ever, right? So that's what that's going to do. And by that time, hopefully by 9 o'clock, we will have ownership out, and we can get rid of most of these magenta colors, and everything will kind of be finalized, right? So this is the rough draft, but it is me breaking down the rough draft with a video, okay? It's a fucking nasty slate, brother. I got to tell you, man. And normally, you get like 6 quarterbacks, and you got to kind of pick between 2. I swear to God, I don't know who I'm playing at cash tomorrow at the second quarterback, because I will be the first to admit, maybe it's the Perrier talking, right? But it looks fucking weird. It's all empty because of the green screen. Or see-through, I guess I should say. Is normally we have multiple quarterbacks. But this week, man, I can't find a second quarterback, and I almost talked myself into maybe not playing 2 quarterbacks. And I thought, hey, don't be a fucking moron. So we're going to play 2 quarterbacks. We're going to play one at the quarterback and one at the super flex because they test the ball every fucking play. The one guy that there's just no way that will not be in my cash lineup at quarterback is Jaden Daniels. This game has everything you want, shootout potential. Jaden Daniels can run the ball. He can pass the ball. Their offense is actually functional. Mississippi is fast as fuck, so the LSU's probably going to run 80 to 90 plays. You just play the law of large numbers here. Even if he's 100% owned in cash, I don't give a fuck. I'm playing him. That's just one guy I just don't think you can get me off of. So then where do we go for the other cash quarterback? That's not so simple. Jason Bean, not doing it with a 24-point team total. Blake Shippen, he's a game manager. He has to be perfectly efficient. He doesn't have the upside. You got to hear me. You got to fucking hear me on this now. When you are playing cash game, you've got to get over this at college football that, I just need a guy with a safe floor. That's not what it's about. You got to have guys with high ceilings. You got to have Jefferson who can go get you 42 points. You got to have Gibbs who can go get you 43 points. You need those guys in your lineup. It's just like showdown at golf. You need the mother fathers who can go low, because to cash, you usually got to have a guy who goes off like Max Homa today, assuming you don't have Davis fucking Riley. I'm sorry, I'm still tilting. Okay, so I can't play Blake Shapen. He doesn't have the upside. Garrett Schrader, once again, a good, efficient quarterback. No chance he should be in a cash lineup. He may have a decent floor because he runs the ball so much, but 18-point team total, get the fuck out of here. I'm still not convinced that DJ is there yet. Yes, he's looked a lot better, but 31-point team total. They run the ball. He'll probably get 25 points or something like that, but I don't know. I just want my quarterback to have a 38-point upside, and I don't think he has a 38-point upside. That's my opinion, Bob. CJ Stroud would seem like a very logical choice here. Huge team total, amazingly talented quarterback, incredible weapons all around him. Couple things. I was going to play slow. And then you have to worry about Ohio State blowing them out and C.J. Stroud having 27 points midway through the third quarter, and then they pull his ass. You got to worry about that, right? That's a real concern. You need a perfectly efficient game from him. So at 9,200, I don't think I want to go up to 9,200 in a blowout potential game. So does he make sense in GPPs? Yeah, he does. But in a cash lineup, there's no chance. No chance I'm playing him. Ben Bryant from Cincinnati can't do it. Tanner Mordecai, can't do it. Neither one of these quarterbacks they just don't offer enough upside, in my opinion. Mordecai's averaging 330 yards passing, but he hardly does any running. There is a decent chance his wide receiver, Rashee Rice, who he literally throws the ball to every fucking play, might be out or is at least greatly diminished. No chance I'm playing Drew Pine. He's just a game manager. JT Daniels fucking sucks. This would seem to be the most logical one right here, right? Beeren? The fucking freshman Morton from Texas Tech, right? We played him before. He did me very well in a GPP a couple weeks ago when he mystery started against Oklahoma State. He's good. And Texas Tech has an upbeat offense, and West Virginia's defense ain't very good this year. That's a lot of stuff. However, he has been beat up, and I'm a little nervous about playing a beat-up freshman in a cash lineup, right? The whole point of a cash lineup is we want a certain level of safety, and there is a chance that Donovan Smith could just come in and play if he gets a little beat up. So even though he seems like the most logical choice, I don't know, Bob. I don't know. Jackson Dart is also a very affordable price over on DraftKings at $6,700, running an offense that will probably score 35 points. But man, they just don't pass that much. They run the ball legit 65% of the time there. So, I just don't know if I can get there. I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to, if I had to pick right now, it's probably going to be DTR. He's just been really good this year. He's kind of playing good. They have a big team total, competitive environment. A lot of his totals have been diminished because they've been blowing teams out. I could see him getting there. And at the same time, I just don't see how I don't play him and Charbonnet. You're you can't play quarterback and run back from same team in cash. I did it with Raheem Sanders and KJ Jefferson last week. It worked out just fucking fine for me. Bo Nix has a huge upside, but I'm not playing $9,300 Bo Nix in a cash lineup. Get the fuck out of here. Quinn Ewers, they're just using him as a game manager. He hasn't ran the ball at all, doesn't have a ton of upside. You know the big guy wants to play Spencer Sanders in cash. But there's a lot of rumors floating around that he's really fucked up. He's hurt bad, and so bad he'll either be not playing or greatly diminished. Gundy's son, who played at Stillwater High, where I went to high school, he is likely to play. So that really scares the shit out of me with Spencer Sanders. And even if I get word that he's cleared, is he just one big hit away from being out? Texas has got some big old animals that'll fuck you up. Hartman. What are we seeing with Hartman? I mean, he makes a lot of sense, right? They're air raid, they pass, they got a huge team total. He's really efficient. But here's the problem, man. They're a 20-point favorite, and there's a good chance they're going to beat the brakes off of BC. And we've already seen when Wake Forest gets ahead, they don't have that killer instinct. They just run the ball with Ellison and Turner, and they just lean on the other team. So I don't think I can play him at $8,900. Plus, when you play an $8,900 quarterback, you got to make some sacrifices elsewhere. Purdue, not a chance. I'm playing a Purdue quarterback in my cash lineup. Wisconsin, not a fucking chance. If you're going to play cash over on FanDuel, the nice thing is you do have Plumlee, right? I think you got to probably play Plumlee at cash over on FanDuel if you're over there doing that. So that pretty much solves the problem over on FanDuel. But over on DraftKings, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is going to be questions we're going to have to answer tomorrow during the stream. So as of right now, I've got Daniels, and I do not know who I'm running at the Superflex because I literally just laid out a problem for every single one. As bad as quarterback seems this week, it seems like running back is pretty fucking cut and dry. It seems like to me there's 4 legitimate options you should play, right? At cash this week by the way, I'm just talking cash. You can fucking read the thing, right? You see the high upside guys, the GPPs. You guys know how to play GPPs, stat games. We'll come back to that. I'm just going to start on cash because it's my favorite and it's the most lucrative in my opinion. Running backs for cash, I think Charbonnet at $6,700 is fucking laughable. He touches the ball over 20 times a game. He fucking has a nose for the end zone. He's a good player. He catches it. He runs it. He scores touchdowns. He does everything you want. So Charbonnet, the only thing you got to worry about is UCLA getting blown out. But UCLA, I can't believe I'm saying this. They don't fucking suck. They don't. They're actually pretty decent. I really want to play Dominic Richardson here, but there is a script where Oklahoma State gets behind, especially if Spencer Sanders isn't playing. I feel like that really hurts Richardson's value, so I'm just going to call him high upside. I don't think he's a lock at cash. I will say, I think Braylon Allen at 7,400, I think Wisconsin finally learned, hey, let's give the ball to our best fucking player before we lose 47 games this year. And now he's just roasting people. He should be 9,100. He's 7,400. They're at home. They're in a favorable script. I mean, Purdue's not a bunch of bitches, but just sheer volume, I think he gets there. So Braylon Allen is definitely one of the big big four that I think you need to consider for cash game. The next one, Tajay Spears. The only thing that worries me about him is there is a chance that he is going to see a little bit more diminished of a role as they get some other people back. And he only touches the ball 17 times a game basically, and you got to worry about efficiency there. But it is a big total. He is 5,700, and he does seem to be the lead back. But I think the one guy that you can definitely not have, like if you're playing cash and DraftKings, you have got to put Casey Flickens in there. Dude, like 5,800 is a ridiculous price. He killed it last week. He's getting 22 touches a game. He's probably going to be in a script where they're ahead. He's going to be playing for a team that's dedicated to running the ball. He's about as safe as it gets, man. You just got to play him. He's just a plug and play. I don't see any way around it. On the other three running backs, you can decide. And maybe even in a fucked up world, you could do 4 running backs and just 1 quarterback. Over on FanDuel, I think you've got to be pretty open to Gibbs in cash. You just got to worry about the blowout there. But even if there's a blowout, there's a good chance he's getting to 25, 30 points anyways. And then Deuce Vaughn is also very viable at cash over on FanDuel. All right. Last one, wide receiver. Fucking sucks. So not a lot of guys that I would label as cash, right? Because to be cash, you need to be high floor and high ceiling. Yes, Ohio State has a 40-point total. Yes, they have superior talent at wide receiver. Abuka, Harrison, Marvin Harrison Jr. are amazing players. But if you don't know, Smith-Njigba is going to be back this week, and he's definitely their number one guy, right, when he's healthy. So how much does he play? Well, we don't know. And he's definitely going to be taking away some catches from Abuka, so that makes me a little scared to play him. The blowout also scares me. If you play Abuka in cash, I don't think it's the worst play, but man, I just worry about how big is his ceiling. For 6,900, I need a guy with 30-point ceiling. I don't know if he has that. Well, I mean, maybe I'll have to warm up to him by tomorrow. Here's a really interesting one. For Cincinnati, Tyler Scott is banged up, and if Tyler Scott's out, I think Trey Tucker becomes a very good play. That's why he's that weird color of blue, is because if Tyler Scott's out, I think that you see a huge uptick in usage for Trey Tucker. I think we could be looking at like 10 targets, right? Over here, I think Rashee Rice, I mean, he seems like the obvious cash play. The dude gets like 15 targets a game. I know it says 13.5 there, but that's because they pulled him early against Navy because he was hurt. Do I want to play a $7,900 receiver that has a hurt toe and has kind of looked banged up all year? I don't know. But I do like 13.5 targets. So I have him marked as cash, but man, we got to monitor that injury and be watching breaking news coming out. If you want a nice punt, I do like that Goffney right below him. I don't like Michael Mayer's upside that much, but man, Notre Dame's going to score some points tomorrow, and he legitimately gets almost 40% target share there. So you're probably looking at 8 to 10 targets. If he just gets you 6 catches and a touchdown, he's probably going to pay off that $5,000 price tag. As bad as the wide receiver selections are this week, I think you got to kind of consider him at cash. West Virginia, Texas Tech, it's like, I can't play any of them. Ford Wheaton really interests me in GPPs, but man, in cash, I just can't pay $7,100 for a guy that flaky. But if you got the money, he is averaging 11 targets a game in a high-scoring environment. Good luck with your picking the right Texas Tech receiver. We got to monitor Miles Price. If he's out, what does that do to Bradley in Cleveland? It probably bumps up their value, right? Get on over here to Mississippi. They have 3 receivers, but they just don't pass that much. They run the ball so damn much, it's hard to play an Ole Miss receiver. I really want to play an LSU receiver, but I think I'd rather just play Daniels naked in cash because I don't want to pick the wrong one. He spreads the ball around pretty well, and he gets so much done with his legs that trying to stack in cash, I'm just not a big fan of it. And if I already tell you, I'm playing Jaden Daniels in cash. UCLA wide receivers, don't even fucking consider them in cash. Oregon wide receivers, good fucking luck picking that. That's like trying to pick the Texas Tech receivers. Yes, 1 or 2 of them is going to have a monster game. You have fun trying to pick which one that's going to be. I don't take those kind of risks with my cash lineups. By the way, I probably should have said Bijan is very viable in cash also. But 9,400 is a big price tag when there's no obvious punts out there. Wide receiver, I think Jadavion Sanders and Xavier Worthy are both very viable cash options here. I just have them as high upside because when I put cash, I think a lot of you think of that as like, oh, I've got to lock them in cash. Well, really, I just means that means they're cash viable. So this is why I always tell you, when you see high upside, if you really like them, I think that high upside guys are viable in cash. On that same note, Dominic Richardson and Zay Flowers and A.T. Perry. If they're the last guy in and you have all these other guys you like and you can fit them in as your last one, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But back to receivers. Zay Flowers, not the worst choice at 10 targets. I just worry, is he going to get blown? Are they going to get blown out? Can Jerkovic throw him the ball? Jerkovic? I don't know, man. It's tough. Cash is not easy this week. Charlie Jones, you always got to like Charlie Jones, but, man, he's been banged up. He's playing in a slow game script. Even if he's getting 12 targets, how good are those targets going to be? I don't know. I don't know if I want to base it. I think if I'm going to play Charlie Jones, I'd rather just pay the extra $100 and play Rashee Rice in more of a shootout type environment. And then the last one, I guess probably the only other than Meyer is this Higgins guy. Stanford, I can't remember his fucking name, but one of their wide receivers is out. So Higgins is probably going to get some nice elevated usage. They have a nice big total of 29 here. So I think him and Flickens can both get there. I don't love to play a running back and a wide receiver from the same team, but, man, they're both so cheap. They don't have to hit that big to pay off that kind of value. So, yeah, as you can see, this is why this is the rough draft, because we got a ways to go to try to find some things. Like I have a feeling I might end up warming up to Ibuka or something like that from Ohio State. He's looked really good. He's a true talent. But as soon as I do that, then it goes to Marvin Harrison, or Smith-Njigba comes back and goes for 180 and 3 touchdowns, and nobody else gets anything. It's just really tough. Cash is not obvious this week. I mean, I will say this: there's 4 very obvious cash plays, but what you do with the other 4 spots, I don't know yet. I don't know, Bob. I don't know. As for GPPs, you can see the games that you should target. The ones in purple are very good games to target. The problem is it's not very easy to target those games. Like if you want to do a game stack on UCLA Oregon, you're probably going to have to dedicate 5 to 8 lineups to it, just mixing and matching all those parts, because good luck trying to figure out who's going to go off in that game. Same thing with LSU. If you're playing LSU, I would run Jaden Daniels, and I would probably run him with Neighbors or Booty. Not both of them. One or the other. And then you got to run it back, and you got to run it back against Evans. And then you got to run it back against Judkins. And then you got to run it back against Mingo. And then you got to run it back against Heath and Evans. And you got to have all these different combinations, right? So even though it's a good game to attack, it's difficult because there's so many working pieces. This West Virginia-Texas Tech game could shoot the fuck out and could be the game of the day, right? But now you got to go play Morton. You got to mix and match him with 4 different receivers. Probably want 2 of them in there because he's more of a pocket passer, and you're just mixing and matching, and then every time you do that, you got to come over here and have a run back from West Virginia. So it's tough. All 3 of these very, these games to attack here don't have clear usage. The good thing about this Oklahoma State UT game is the usage is very clear, right? Quinn Ewers, Bijan, and those 3 receivers from Texas, Sanders and Dominic Richardson are good from Oklahoma State. Problem is, who is he going to throw the ball to? I think with Spencer Sanders, you only ever want to target one of his receivers to stack him with. Do not stack him with 2. I think Wake Forest is a great stack in a GPP. Hartman, mix and match him. Maybe run it back with Zay Flowers if you even want to run back. Maybe you just play the blowout narrative. In GPPs, I'm not getting anywhere near stacking. If the game's not colored and the pink or the purple, I'm not stacking that game. I'm not attacking that game. I'll just be playing some one-off pieces. No way I'm attacking a KU Baylor game, a Clemson Syracuse game, an Iowa Ohio State game. I will play some pieces from those games, but the only ones where I'll be attacking game, that means playing both quarterbacks with a pass catcher or running back, at least like 4 guys from a single game, will be these 5 that I have highlighted here. Same thing over on FanDuel. I feel like this UCF ECU game is very attackable, and I feel like this K-State TCU game is shootouty. Just a sneaky high total competitive environment. Long story short, guys, a lot of injury watches. See, got the magenta right there because we got some injury watches. So we're going to have to be up tonight and in the morning checking, because this news that breaks could really open up some value. Like if Tyler Scott's out, I think I'm going to move Trey Tucker up to cash. 31-point team total, the clear number 1 receiver. I'll happily pay $6,200 for that. If we get word that Smith-Njigba is going to be out, that makes me like Ibuka a lot more. Things like that. That'll be some of the news I'll be waiting to hear. This is the other one, big one I want to hear. I want to hear that Fearon, however the fuck you say his name, Morton from Texas Tech. I want to hear that he's starting and that Donovan Smith is not going to be playing quarterback, because there's also a chance he starts and then they just bring in Donovan Smith and your cash lineup's insta-fucking dead. And that scares me. I don't know what to do there, Bob. This is your rough draft, you motherfather. We'll be back 9 o'clock in the morning. Lord's time zone is the goal for this to be out, updated with ownership, right? Hopefully some injury news. Maybe not injury news. We'll have to see. And then the stream will be at 9:30 Lord's time zone, which is 90 minutes before kick. So I can answer any questions and we can share any knowledge. I hope you can be there, sharing some knowledge, looking up shit on Twitter with us. Great community. Sorry for the long video. Got a lot of shit to do. Tonight. It's Friday, and then it's Saturday, and they're really fucking long days for the big guy. Thank you for your continued support. Good luck tomorrow, you motherfathers.